Hi there movie fans, and welcome to another edition of Movies and More. Today we're moonwalking up to review Michael, the latest addition to the growing canon of musical biopics, this one charting the rise to superstardom of the king of pop, Michael Jackson. So let's get straight into everything you need to know about this film, as if you didn't know already. The film charts the rise, but not the fall, heavens no, of possibly the world's greatest solo music artist, from his Detroit origins, there played by Giuliano Valdi, to global superstardom, here played by Jafar Jackson, with appearances along the way from Coleman Domingo as Jackson's fearsome father, Miles Teller as Jackson's manager, and an assortment of actors playing younger, older members of the wider Jackson family. But look, really, the bottom line is the movie is currently on general release and you'll either go or you won't. I doubt anyone will go or not based on any critique they've read or heard. By all accounts, the movie has been universally panned in the media for its superficiality, amongst other things. But when we went, without advance tickets, thinking the cinema will be half empty, we ended having to wait for a much later showing, and even then the available seats were limited. The film has been smashing box office records for a music biopic, clear indication that Michael Jackson still commands an extraordinarily large fan base, despite the controversy that surrounds him, that they've all gone to celebrate the music the man-boy created, and they don't want any stones lifted around the darker edges of Jackson's life, thank you very much, which is in their eyes all fake news anyway. For Michael is a film which, more than most biopics, is so very painting by numbers, and even then staying within the lines. There is no real shining of any light on what made Jackson tick, the impulses he craved, and the dark places it may or may not have led him towards. Thriller this is not. However, if you want to revel in his music, to be fascinated by his making of it, and to see in TV movie style the superficial excuses for other key moments in his life, dad was a bastard, tick. Success is a bitch, tick. Keeps a zoo, tick. Befriends a chimpanzee, tick. Loves children because he is one, tick. Don't play with fire, tick. Then this film is for you. Don't, however, go to see Michael expecting any real insight into MJ himself. The big problem with all music biopics, of course, is that the production team needs access to the music catalogue. I mean, who is going to see Michael if you're not getting treats like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Billie Jean or Bad? So the artist, or in this case their estate, has massive leverage over the direction of the movie and its content. There is no way that Michael is going to be anything more than a showcase for Jackson's talent. And this is before you factor the movie was produced by the Jacksons and that Jafar Jackson is Michael's nephew. Good luck lifting them stones. Even the father's dominating influence felt no more nor less than what you might see at a kid's football match on the touchline on a Sunday morning. The film was directed by Antoine Fuqua, maker of The Training Day, Equalizer, Shooter and Emancipation, but here dialing in a surprisingly neutered offering for a director of such tough, uncompromising standing. The film is up there then with Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocket Man, I Wanna Dance With Somebody, One Love and Back to Black, all heavily dependent on access to the artist's music, so going soft focus therefore on their rougher edges in favour of showcasing why we all bought their records in the first place. The film ends at the height of Jackson's creative and commercial peak circa 1988, so regardless, the accusations that dogged him in the 90s and early 2000s haven't really surfaced yet. Apparently there was an attempt to work on something in this regard, but much of the third act had to be rewritten when it was discovered the subject matter was caught by an NDA with one of Jackson's accusers. However, we're led to believe there will be a follow-up coming out, which will surely have to address those issues somehow, although don't hold your breath. If some of the superficial explanations that have been used to explain Jackson's behaviour in the first film are anything to go by, it's likely to be fed more of the same in part 2. Jackson's daughter Paris is on record to say that a big section of the film panders to a very specific section of my dad's fandom and still lives in the fantasy. Perhaps this explains why Janet Jackson chose not to lend her name to the movie, yet LaToya did. Who knows? It all echoes my earlier point. There is an awful lot of MJ fans out there who still worship at his altar, want to marvel at the man and wish to hear his music in massive Dolby surround sound, which, to be fair, it showcases brilliantly. As a musical record, it excels. They don't want his memory or their memory tarnished or sullied in any way. And if you don't like that, just beat it. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the review. If you'd like to comment below, we will respond. Otherwise, do please subscribe to our channel and do look forward to our next edition of Movies and More coming soon.